Welcome back to our channel. This is the third video of the playlist where we recommend books for a fruitful IIT-JEE preparation. We have already published the physics and chemistry versions, so if you haven't checked it out already, I would highly recommend you to do so. So coming to maths, it is a subject that requires quite a lot of insight, practice, and experience. So what I mean by this basically is you cannot just directly jump into practicing problems, as for that you would need an insight into the concepts and the uh, type of problems that could come. And after that, you need to have thorough practice. And then from the experience of of that problem practice, the that will shine through in your exam hall. So we have taken a bit of a different approach in this video and have decided to divide the video into 6 chapters. So the first chapter is about your theory. Now, even in a subject like mathematics, it is important that you're thorough with your theory. And for that purpose, we recommend this Engage Exam Crack series. And this is a set of 5 books by G. Tiwani. And what this book does really well is it gives you all of the theory that is required for JEE Mains and Advanced. And along with that, it gives you illustrations and concept exercises that will help you consolidate those concepts. And another thing that is good about it is that it comes with DPPs. Now, these DPPs also have good problems and they will be useful for more practice. But of course, there are certain cons, you could say, about this book as well. And that is that the level of these questions does not go to quite a high level, because some of the tougher questions of advanced that come in JEE Advanced are not covered in this set. So along with that, the number of questions also is quite large and could be really discouraging for many students. But currently in the market, it is probably the best book that you can get. And when it comes to vectors in 3D, this book is basically all you will need for the topic, because if you just do this book and say your PYQs of JEE Mains and Advanced and a good test series, that will be more than enough for vectors in 3D and to a great extent, even of trigonometry. But this book again is a must only for those students who are not in any coaching. If you already are in any coaching, then you should focus on your coaching modules first and foremost. And only if there is a particular chapter where you feel like a bit more practice would be useful, then you can do that chapter from here. Otherwise, you should strictly, stick to your coaching modules. And the next book that we would recommend that you start out with, is Black Book, or The Advanced Problems in Mathematics by Vikas Gupta. Now, the use of this book is to, be able to solve certain, advanced level problems that are on the middle level. And in fact, there are certain problems here that are even on the tougher side. So this book, you would see, is often recommended as one of the tougher books, but we would say it is good for beginners, as it will, not only help you clear your concepts more, but will help you build application and manipulation skills. So this is useful to start out with. And as I've said, the questions are pretty good and are also less in number and are therefore doable. So of course, there's a con as well, and that is that the certain parts are not quite that good, like say if you are doing algebra part, right, and you go to the sections where there are paragraph type or say your comprehension type, even in these parts you see that it is not really chapter oriented, but multiple concepts, but the problems are not really that good. So that is one of the cons of this book. Moving on, coming to algebra, the yellow book, this is also by Vikas Gupta, but this book is certainly much tougher than the black book. And you should only do this just before your JEE Advanced, because while level 1 is doable, but onwards level 12, level 2, level 3 onwards, it becomes pretty challenging. And you could say it is tougher than JEE Advanced as well in many respects. So it is important that You first get your basics covered and then only do you jump to this book. And a special note for the chapter of matrices and determinants is that you cover your NCRT, especially the exemplar, and there are a lot of proofs that you could remember from that, and that would really help you because the results that you get from those proofs would be useful in a solution that could be you asked in a JEE Advanced. As you can see, it's quite a hard book and it will help you for your JEE Advanced. But the thing is that the questions, solutions to the questions are not very well explained. So it could be a bit of an issue. So moving on to conics. Now this is one of the subtopics that students find a bit challenging or tricky. So to make this easy, what we have made is there's this book by S.L. Loney called The Elements of Coordinate Geometry. Now, conics is a subtopic that will require quite a lot of memorization, be it formulae or properties. So this book will give you many formulae and many properties. Now, the major way to do this book is to do the examples, solve examples and the exercises. And majorly the results that you get from the solved examples, you need to remember them. Now, it might seem quite an uphill task, but if you do that, there's nothing like it really, because it is really up to how much you can apply your properties that decides how quickly you can solve a problem in your JEE Advanced. And time is of utmost importance in your JEE Advanced examinations. So the pros, as you can see, is that it covers very good theory and it gives you awesome clarity, because if you derive the properties yourself, it gives you a much greater chance of remembering them. And as you can see that you might be overwhelmed by the fact that you need to remember the properties, but it is really helpful if you can do it. And now moving on for sheer problem practice, there's this book called Pink Book, and really it is a very good book for coordinate geometry practice. The questions here are property based. They have advanced level problems and advanced format problems. The solutions could be hard to understand, but they're still pretty well given. And additionally, they have given a series of formulae and properties at the beginning of the chapter, and you can just skim through them for a very good revision. Now moving on to trigonometry, it is not very necessary for you to do a separate book, because if you just cover your coaching module or your Cengage, then there's no real need for doing another book on trigonometry. But if you're still insistent and you have plenty of time, then you can check out this book by S.L. Loney on plane trigonometry. Otherwise, just stick to your coaching modules or your Cengage. Now, the biggest or the most challenging part, you could say, of maths is calculus. So it is just one problem practice book, and that is Sameer Bansal. It is just, as you can see, it's just a perfect book. It has advanced level problems and the formats. It has very good solutions, comprehensive solutions, and the questions are extremely relevant. There are very less problems. You can see the size of this book, right? More than half of it is just solutions. The number of problems is very less, but they are very to the point, very concise and excellent. So there's nothing wrong with this book. This is an absolute must if you want to master your calculus. And then there's this book by Vinay Kumar for integral calculus. Now this book in itself is also excellent, because if you just go through the indefinite integral part here, you'll see it is so much in depth. You'll see that many people struggle with indefinite integration, right? If you just take time and just go through this book, your indefinite integration will become so strong, because it takes so many problems and so many examples to explain a particular concept that it is bound to become consolidated. So this book you can definitely check out. Now, when it comes to vector and 3D geometry, just do Cengage and your modules and practice PYQs. That is more than enough. So to end, there's this book by Sameer Bansal again, 1,000 Challenging Problems. Now, the good thing about this book is that it is random. Like it is not in a chapter-wise manner. It is mixed up, and like you can get one problem from calculus, the very next problem could be from algebra, then conics, and so on. So this gives you a very nice exam mentality, because in exam as well, the questions will be mixed up. And then again, the problems are pretty good level. They are actually really good. So this was all for the maths books that we recommend. And if you follow this list, you can just, go for your Cengage first, and along with that, do your black book, and that will give you a very, very strong base, even up till JEE advanced level. Maybe just before the exams, like after your mains, like, first session of your mains, you can, move on to these books of, specialized topic wise books. So that was it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks.